Hello, hello. We're back. Good evening. I hope you're well, and I hope you are as excited as I am about all the things I've got to tell you tonight and all the things that are happening. So exciting. I can't wait. But I need some people to talk to. Are you there? Please say hello. We'll hang on a few moments. I can't wait to get going. Just let me know if you're around. That would be nice. Oh, brilliant. Here we go. Good evening. How lovely to have your company once again for my Thursday night natter. And tonight we're in our new home at the Creative Expressions page, which was quite a challenge getting over here, but I've made it. So, very pleased about that. Hi Portia, hope you're well. Hi Andrew, lovely to see you again. And Bethan. Kim, hello lovely. Hi Joyce. Hi Wendy, how are you? Hi Christine. Hello, oh there's lots of you, how lovely. That's brilliant. Alright, so I'm going to make a start. Oh Jamie, it is exciting. I'm here. That's exciting of itself. Hi Pam. Yes, it's been a challenge getting everything moved across to this page, but here we are. So it's lovely. Yeah. Right, so what is all the excitement about? Please excuse me. Well, for me, it's always exciting in Jamie's world, and it's very exciting to be working alongside, trying to keep up. I'm not doing very well in that regard, but we're getting there. So on Sunday, I am going to be returning to Hobby Maker, and I can't wait. I have got shows. We will tell you a little bit more later on. But for tonight, we're being very naughty because we're having a sneaky peek at the collection. This is a brand new die collection from Creative Expressions under Jamie's leadership, and nobody's seen this before, so you're the first peeps who've got to see it. How lucky are you? Who's calling me by my Sunday name? Lou Foster, how very dare you. Actually, I don't mind my full name. It's a lovely name, but it's a mouthful, so I've always gone by Gwen. But I don't mind being called Gwendolyn at all. So, yes, this die collection, it's really special. It's the first brand new release, worldwide launch of Creative Expressions Renaissance. And I'm very, very honoured to be the one presenting it live on Hobby Maker on Sunday. No pressure then. Anyway, it's a beautiful collection. And it's a very different concept. There's something new, which is really hard to find, isn't it, these days in the craft world? Things tend to go around in circles, and you see the same sort of thing coming up from every company, and you know. But these are genuinely a brand new concept. I've never seen anything like them before. They are fun. They're glamorous. Shall we have a look? Let's do that. Let's dive in. So here we go. These are the Dies to Dot collection, and they are traditionally dies, as you might expect, in the brand new bronze Creative Expressions die finish, which is going to unify the brand right across all avenues, which is really lovely. And they do stand out, don't they? They're instantly recognisable. There aren't many people I don't think I've ever come across anybody else that does these bronze dies. Oh, perhaps one that I can think of, which I won't name. But really not very many. So it's really going to stand out and, be something special. Hi, Marsha. Well, CE are back, but not as you know them. So if you don't already know, Creative Expressions very sadly closed their doors at the end of January this year. As far as we all knew, they were gone. Let me come back so I can talk to you face to face. Yeah, as far as we all knew, they were gone, and it was a great loss to the industry. It was a sad loss to all of us who'd crafted with them for years, and we thought it was going to leave a great big hole. Well, it was going to leave a great big hole worldwide. I mean, they were a global company, and Jamie and I obviously demonstrated for them and had a lovely few years with them and learnt a lot. Gosh, yeah, didn't we just? And what's happened is that Jamie has, in a year ago, set up Jamie Rogers Crafts, his own brand, bringing out his own products. He recently launched that on Hobby Maker. I've been on board, I don't know how long, from the beginning really, helping out here and there where I could. And now I'm demonstrating for him, I'm doing these lives for him. And he has bought the Creative Expressions brand. So along with the brand came all the access to all the designs that had ever been, as far as Creative Expressions were concerned. Don't get confused about all the other brands, because Creative Expressions had an umbrella under which were lots of names. This is the CE main brand that Jamie's bought, and he's now put his Jamie Rogers Crafts under that umbrella, and he's going to be able to bring other brands under that umbrella as well. So it's not going to be Creative Expressions Part 2. It's not an amalgamation. It's a new ownership, and Jamie's at the helm, and that is just amazing news, isn't it? And this is the first new release from them that I'll be presenting on Sunday at Hobby Maker. So very exciting times. There is a lot going on in the background. It's, hectic, to say the least, but in a good way. So we're making progress, we're getting there. We've got stockists on board, which is fantastic, because Jamie and I are both our stockists, or have been, and it's hard to get support from your suppliers. So to have a supplier that's really firmly on the side of the retailers is amazing. Hello, Cheshire Craft, speaking of which, we've got them listening in, so that's lovely. So Jamie's ethos is always to support the retailers. He won't be selling from Creative Expressions or Jamie Rogers Crafts or any of the other brands that are going to come along as time goes by, direct to the public. You won't be able to go. You can go to his website, you can go to the Creative Expressions website and have a look at all the products, but you can't buy them. So you need to find out who your local stockist is, and if they're not already a stockist, you need to tell them they should be. And then you need to tell them that they need me down for a demo day. And that's what I'm doing as well. I'm up and down the country like I don't know what. It's great fun. Loving it. So that's what happened, Marsha. So thanks for asking, because there may be other people who aren't aware of that as well. So let's get back to this fabulous collection. As I say, dies to dot. And the concept of these is that when you cut these out, they have these little depressions, little circular areas, which tells you where to put gems or pearls or liquid pearls, pearly 3D accents, glitter accents, whatever it is you might want to put in there. And they look absolutely incredible when they're done. So let's run through these 8 brand new die sets in this new concept. I'm very excited about these. I am having so much fun developing designs with these and coming up with some hopefully nice demos for you all on Sunday. I'm going to do a couple tonight, but they are going to be very simple. So let's start with this particular set, because I think you'll be familiar with the style of this particular one. So this is our bumpy squares. So it's a nesting die set. There are 10 dies, and you can see that they each cut a shape. with bumpy sides. So it's a square, but not a square. It can be a diamond. They stack, they nest, they make frames. They're a bit different, and they all have these little dot designs around the edge where you can pop your crystals, your pearls, or whatever it is, but you don't have to. If you cut these from a mirror card, those little dots are really pronounced and they show up without having to do anything. But if you then want to add something else to them, you can do. So this is our first one, and these are our bumpy squares. These are going to retail at $32.99, which I think you'll agree is a very reasonable price for 10 quality dies. Strong metal, they've a good weight to them. They're going to cope with all sorts of techniques that you want to throw at them through your machines and all of that. So those are your bumpy squares. I will show you some inspiration with all of these once I've run through the whole collection. Then we've got another whopping die set. This one has 2 dies. So we have the lattice square, and we've got this beautiful lattice panel and a border which is actually separate from that centre panel. So when you see them in the packet, you will see immediately there are 2 dies. Now this is a border, but it doesn't cut a frame. So it has an outer cutting edge, but no inner cutting edge. And this has no outer cutting edge. So it's not going to cut a square with this pattern on. It will cut this pattern into a piece of card and leave it there. Sheila, thank you for that question. I'll answer that in a few moments if that's okay. So you can use this border on its own on any piece of card and put something entirely different in the middle, maybe one of your other nesting dies or your other background dies or something like that. This panel, you can create the border to be as wide as you like because it doesn't have a cut edge. So you can put a really wide frame to it. You can cut it down and use smaller pieces of it. You don't have to use the whole thing, and it actually looks really lovely if you use one of these and cut a piece out of the middle. So you then have one of these with that in the middle of it. Fabulous, hey? So this is your lattice squares, and that is going to retail at $21.99. Sorry, $27.99. So those are the first 2. Those are the 2 largest sets. Then we have these, which I absolutely love. I've always enjoyed flourishes. I don't know why. I think it's just that lovely curvaceous nature. So you have 2 dies in here, and the dies to dot. This one has a bit of a sort of steampunky feel to it, with the sort of cog edges. So if you're into that kind of genre, but you can certainly use it in other ways as well. And this one's just very elegant, very blousy, and really lovely. Has a lovely movement in there. So 2, again, big size dies, and these are going to retail at $22.99. But you can do so much with these. They are really stunning. So those are your large flourishes, large swirls, and then we've got also some small swirls. Now this is a set of 4. They're quite a good size. They're not that small. You can see in the packet they're a lot bigger than the image would have you know. And these will retail at $16.99. So a good price there as well. And these you can use like a bow. You could use them with your flowers to create some imagery that looks like foliage. They're really lovely. When you cut these out, they're really delicate. And then when you start to put the gems or the pearls or the 3D pearl accents on them, they really come alive. They're really beautiful. So then let's have a look at our baubles. Now you've probably already realised that this set is a mixture of things that are going to be useful for every day, and then we have got a couple of Christmas elements in here as well. So it's a really super collection, and they all work beautifully together. With this set you're getting 3 large bauble dies, and we have a round one, a teardrop shape, and then a smaller round one. And this one in particular, I think it reminds me of cloisonne. When you cut it out and you put the gems on it, it just looks like a piece of cloisonne. It's beautiful. This one's obviously very, very filigree, and this one has almost like a little snowflake design to it. Really, really pretty. So your snowflakes are going to retail at $12.99. So you need to be getting onto your stockist and saying, "Oi, Are you getting these in or what? And if not, why not? They might be hesitant, but I think these, that's if we've any stock left after Sunday, because I think these are going to fly because they are so new and so different. And everybody's very excited, of course, about Creative Expressions reappearing. So look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, we've had snowflakes on snowflakes on snowflakes, and you think, I don't need another snowflake, but you need this one. This is the most beautiful. It's got a kind of Nordic feel to it. And when you gem this or pearl it, oh, it's astonishing. It really is beautiful. But if that's not your thing, you don't have to do that. You could cut this in some glitter card. You could glitter your own piece of card with the gemstones glitters, which I'm going to talk about as well tonight. You could cut it out of mirror card or whatever you want to do. It's just beautiful, and it's a good size. And it cuts really, even though it's so intricate, it does cut really, really well. So that is your large snowflake for $12.99. Then we have this really interesting set. Flowers, yes, but also snowflakes. Maybe little snowflakes or flower centres. This set is gorgeous. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, I'm not sure about that. But once I started making the flowers, honestly, it makes beautiful flowers. And then you can accent with gems, pearls. So for wedding cards, they are so elegant. It's really going to be one you'll go to, I think, time and time again, this. So those are your beautiful flowers, and they're going to be $14.99, but you're getting 5 dies in there. And they have a lot of detail, deboss detail, a little bit of cutout detail. Very, very usable. So those are your beautiful flowers. And then last but not least, we have our dot panels. Now you might be thinking, what on earth do I do with those? Well, you cut panels and they will have little holes cut from them. You've 2 sizes. You've got your 3mm and your 6mm. And there's a good reason for that, and I'll explain as we come to the next bit. These are no edge, so it will cut the pattern into the card. It won't cut out a rectangle with holes in. It'll leave holes in the card. So you can cut the border, again, as wide as you like. But the other good thing about these is you can expand them lengthwise and widthwise to make them as big as you like. You can make a whole background. You could make a belly band round a book. You could make the sides of boxes. I've used it round a candle, which I can't show you because I've left it somewhere else. Sorry. You'll see it on Sunday. You'll have to be there. And then don't forget as well, when you cut these, that you get all the little circles out as well. And you can use those to dot with, should you choose. So really versatile, and again, so different, really unusual. So I'm really pleased that we've got these, and I've been having a great fun time with them. And those are going to be $12.99, I believe, for the dot panels. You are getting 2 dies in that set, and again, they're quite substantial, so don't be fooled by the picture on the front. If you look at the actual die, they're quite big. And obviously you can use them horizontally, vertically, diagonally, however you like. So they're really super. I think they're going to be another firm go-to. Alright, so let's have a look at the boards for these lovely dies and then give you some inspiration. So I'm going to start with the snowflake. So you can see here how beautifully it cuts. Very delicate. I think dies always look quite chunky when you see them in the packet. That's because there's a lot of extra metal supporting the framework. But when you cut them, and you can see how delicate these lines are, it's really, really pretty, isn't it? And I've used a combination on this one of gems and 3D pearl. So I'll come back and talk about those again in a little while. So there's your snowflake. Now let's have a look at those incredible flowers. So in the flower set you get 5 dies. These are the 5. These 2 and this one are of a similar style, so you can stack those like you would any other flower, or of course you can use them independently. Then you have this one, which works well amongst the petals. You can certainly put it into your flowers, and I've done that here, but you can use it as a snowflake as well, so really pretty. And this little Sputnik is just fab for all sorts of things. You could use it on its own as a little mini blossom. You could use it in the centre of these as a flower centre. And this, I've stacked up 2 of this size, 1 of this size, 1 of those, 1 of those, and 1 of those to make this flower. And then I've put the gems on the bits of the petal that are exposed. So you don't need to put gems on the whole petal before you build your flower, because some of them will be tucked underneath and you won't see them. So you have to kind of assess how much is going to be seen, and then you can add your gems to that as well. So that's your beautiful flower set. Isn't it stunning? And how different are those? I mean, I've never seen any flowers that looked as gorgeous as those. I think they're spectacular. Then we have our small swirls. So these are the 4 small swirls. And I've done these in mostly the pearl, the 3D pearl accents, just a gem in the centre of that one, but you can see how effective that is. And every time you cut these, you get a little well, so that you know exactly where to put your accents. You're not fishing around thinking, oh, where should I put it, and then trying to get them lined up down the middle of that ribbon. It just wasn't happening. But you've got a little circular disc where they sit, so it's so easy to place everything. So there you have your 4 small swirls, aren't they lovely? And then we've got the large swirls, and again, equally stunning. And these ones have some room for larger gems and smaller gems, and you can mix up your colours, you can do whatever you like. So the world's your oyster, as they say. It's just fantastic. Large swirls, let's have a look at those amazing baubles. Now again, I've done all of these with the 3D pearl accents. I don't know if you can see, but there are some lovely colours. I'm going to talk about them in a bit more detail, don't panic. And then just a few gems just to accent across that bauble. And this is a lovely panel. If you take that off, you've just got a really beautiful circle, which of course you can have in any direction that you choose. Well, you can with any of them really. This one as well, you could take that off and you've got a really pretty little circle. So lots of versatility there. And then our lattice square. This is a big 7-inch piece. I've cut the panel and the frame together to create this piece. And then I've dotted all those little cross pieces where there is a little spot, so you know exactly where to put it, which makes it very easy to get lovely straight lines, which otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to do. Similarly around the edge, you've got little dots and dashes, and it's dead easy to get them in the right spot. So that's your big lattice square. Very exciting. And I've just done this one to show you how, if you don't use the outer border, obviously you can create a frame as big as you like. So I've just left that. That's the centre panel cut on its own, and it stays in the piece of card. So that's your lattice square. And then we have the dot panels. So you've got your 3mm and your 6mm. And again, you can have them in any orientation. Doesn't matter, you can have them diagonally. You could put glitter behind them on a double-sided adhesive sheet. You can spray your card first and then die cut it, so you get variegations through the panel. So many things, so many things. And if you keep all these little dots, well, at the very least you can annoy your people when they open the envelope. You can make shaker cards with these, or you can use them to dot the other patterns with. So yeah, endless possibilities and hours of fun. So those are your dot panels. And finally, our bumpy squares. Now I've cut these alternately in black and white just so you can see all the sizes. So we've got 10 dies. They will make frames, which would look like that if you cut 2 together. They make obviously mats and layers and panels, and again, whichever way you choose to use them, diagonally or on the square, entirely up to you. Those are your bumpy squares. Again, quite a different shape for a nesting set. So I think that's going to be very, very useful. Lovely for making apertures as well. Yeah, they just lend themselves, don't they, to all our needs. So there you go. Those are all those fantastic dies to dot that we're bringing to you. Now, let me come back and talk to you for a few minutes, and then I'll show you some inspiration. Hi, I know there's lots of comments, so I just want to try and catch up. Where have we gone? There we go. Hi, Danny. Hi, Sharon. You could do tapestry work on the panels. You could use it as a stencil. There are so many things you can do. Weaving thread round the border. Oh, yeah. You could, honestly, your minds are going. I love it. I love it that you're so inspired. Yes, that lattice square, Andrew, is a fabulous size, isn't it? But you don't have to leave it that big. And again, it's one of those patterns that you can extend because it's a repetitive geometric pattern. You just match it up, move it along, cut a bit more. So you could go even bigger if you wanted to do something perhaps for a scrapbook page, or, you know, inside a book, or a big wall piece even. You could do so many things. They are fabulous. Oh, I like that idea, using the dots as tiny buttons. Yeah, that's great. You certainly could. So, aren't they now? I'm so pleased that you're enjoying these. Don't you worry, Kim. We've got some, yeah, amazing things coming up in this Natter. So don't go anywhere. Joanna's already got a shopping list. Love it, Joanna. That's going to get longer as the evening goes on. I'm sorry. Obviously, these products aren't going to be available until Sunday, and then only at Hobbymaker, where they are exclusive. This is an exclusive world launch of the Renaissance of Creative Expressions, and this is the first release under Jamie's guidance. So it's amazing. I mean, we keep saying it, and every time I have to pinch myself because it's just amazing. It's incredible. I'm so pleased for Jamie. It's incredible. All right, so let me make sure I haven't missed anybody. I've missed a lot of people. I know I can't say hello to everybody, but it's so great to have your company. Thank you all so much. How big is the biggest bumpy square? Good question. Let's have a look and I will tell you. So the largest one is 7.9 inches or 20.1 centimetres. So almost 8 inches square, the biggest one. So a good size. And they go right down then obviously to the little one in the middle. Hello Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us. So you're all loving it. Why is it only going to be at Hobbymaker? Well, because it's a world exclusive launch and they've put their faith in us as a company and given us the time on their channel, and just for that day it's exclusive to them, and there will be some good prices available. So obviously they do bundles and they'll do individuals. You can pick and choose whatever it is you want to have. However, it is going to be launched the following Tuesday to the stockists. So Tuesday is stockist launch day, and from that point onwards you will be able to purchase it from your local stockist if they're having it in. And I know Jamie and the team are working really hard to make sure the stock is available and with the stockists by Tuesday to the best of their abilities. So go and knock on your stockist door and see if they've got it, and if not, I'm sure they'll be happy to get it in for you. Right, so let me show you what else I'm going to be bringing you on Sunday to go alongside this collection, because it is really quite exciting. So somebody said, oh, we need gems. Well, have we got gems for you? Look at this. Look at this. We have gems, pearls, different sizes. The sizes all match the the settings on those dies. I say settings, it is like jewellery setting, isn't it? So you have 3mm and 6mm in all of these packs. You also have 10mm in some of the pearls and some of the gems. So these are lovely. I like these for the centre of a flower, or the centre of a bow or something like that. They are quite big, and you can still make use of these in the corners, perhaps, something like that. Look at them! Aren't they amazing? I can't get over it. So for the pearls, these are a beautiful ivory, and you're going to be having 10mm, 6mm and 3mm, hundreds of them. And these are all going to be available as a bundle on Sunday. We've then got 10mm rainbow gems, and these are self-adhesive, so you just pluck them off the sheet and stick them where you want them to go. Look at these lovely colours. You've got red, orange, yellow, green, pale blue, pale pink and amethyst. These are gorgeous. So those are your 10mm, and then in the rainbow collection you also have 6mm in the same exact colours, and of course then in 3mm. Look how many you get. I've been playing with these. I've got through loads of them. I love them. Then we've also got 10mm pearls in all the colours, complementary colours, and then we've got red and green pearls. I've lost my red and green pearls. Where have they gone? I had them a minute ago. What have I done with them? Anyway, there are red and green pearls in, I think you get a bigger one than this as well as these. I might be wrong there, but there we are. Sorry, I'm just trying to read a comment. Susan, don't worry. These products, I'm not sure about the gems, but certainly the dies are going to be available through American stockists. So keep an eye on your local stockist or somebody whose website you like to use, because I'm sure these will be appearing before very long in the States. So don't worry about that. So I'm sure they're already on the way, actually. Jamie usually gets ahead of the game. Then you've also got in your 6mm and 3mm gold, and you've got 6mm and 3mm in silver, which are actually your crystal. So loads, and those are all in a bundle, and you're not going to believe me when I tell you this. Am I allowed to tell them, Jamie? The price for these, and there are 12 packets. Are you ready? Are you sat down? £4.99. £4.99 for 12 packets of luxury gems and pearls in mostly 2 sizes, some in 3. So, no, Hobby Maker don't ship to the USA, but as I say, these products will be making their way to your US stockists, so you're not going to miss out. Don't panic. Right, let me pop those to one side, and I can show you more, even more, that we're going to have on the show on Sunday, and also available to stockists from Tuesday. So these are very exciting. These are making a comeback with Creative Expressions. They've come back in stock, they've been reordered, and we are bringing you a set of 3. So we have Season's Greetings, Christmas Blessings and Everyday Wordies. If you're not familiar with Wordies, they are toner ink, and with printed sentiments you get 2 sheets with white on black and 2 sheets with black on white. And you can hot foil these because it is toner ink, so you just cut out the bit you want and do whatever you want with it. The white ones you can ink over, you can spritz over, so, and you get hundreds of them. It's a 250-gram silk finish cardstock, which is really nice. So I think you'll find those very usable, and they go alongside this collection obviously really, really well. So that's your wordies. Now we've also got a really lovely re-release, if you like, of some of Jamie's own designs that he did at Creative Expressions. Okay, so, oh, sorry, have I given the wrong? Oh, I'm so sorry, I have. Thank you, Christiana. Sorry, apologies, folks. The gems are 10 quid. 10 quid a bundle. It's still an absolute bargain because it's less than £1 a sheet. So, it's still, yeah, no, sorry about that. I got everybody all excited, didn't I? But it's still very exciting at 10 quid. Still a bargain. All right, thanks for pointing that out. So, yeah, re-release some of Jamie's designs that he did for Creative Expressions, and we're bringing them back to you because they were so popular. Some of these were from his Fairy Wishes collection, and these are from the Festive collection. So we're going to have 2 sets of these. We've got 3 that are everyday sentiments, thinking of you, best wishes, and just for you. And I love that these all have their own label shape, which you can use for other things, and you can mix and match across the sentiments as well. And then we have 3 festive ones: Season's Greetings, Let It Snow, and Joyful Tidings. And again, with lovely plates to sit them on. Absolutely gorgeous. So these are going to be available, and I'll be bringing these on Sunday and using them alongside this collection. But these will be available in your stockists as well. So those are our sentiment dies in the new Creative Expressions. Yes, I do apologise about the mess up with the gems. Oh dear, can't get the staff, can you? Right, so would you like some inspiration? Yes, let's have a look. So I'm going to start off by having a look at some baubles. These are absolutely beautiful, and we have a fantastic array of designs created by some of the design team. And oh dear, my screen's doing weird things. Go away. Thank you. I had a pop-up that I didn't want. So this is a lovely combo of one of the flourishes and one of the baubles. Doesn't that work so well? Just dangling off that lovely ribbon at the top there. And then we've got these beautiful pearls running all the way around. And this is from our lovely Emma, I believe. I hope I'm right. I've got everything else wrong tonight. But anyway, it's lovely. Then we have some done by Sharon. And I know Sharon's watching tonight. So we've got some lovely designs from Sharon. Now Sharon's teamed up the trellis background, the bumpy squares, and that fabulous bauble, and then added on the gems to suit each layer. And as you can see, you don't have to gem everything in sight. In fact, you probably won't want to. So, you know, this one's been left with just the little circles marked on it. This one's been gemmed in purple, this one in blue, and then we've got a combo on that centre bauble. Isn't that beautiful? And here's another one from Emma. Now Emma's used some of the lovely glitter, she's used some of the gilding flake, and again that gorgeous bauble, and that bauble is swinging. And again she's hung it down from that beautiful flourish. I love that. I think that's absolutely stunning. And she's done an embossed panel here with a stencil, and then she's used the metallic wax on the layer underneath. Isn't that gorgeous? And just a few pearls here and on here, but not everywhere. So you don't have to pearl everything or gem everything. Here's one of mine. I've used, again, that trellis panel, and I've put a double-sided adhesive sheet at the back of it and put through my own special mix of glitter. So I've mixed 2 of the colours together. And then I've used the bumpy squares, and I've created a frame, well, sort of a double frame, a layer underneath, and then I've just focused on that bauble in the centre. And this panel is something I will be showing you on Sunday, so I'm not going to say too much tonight. And this is another one of mine. Again, using that flourish as a hanging bough for the baubles, and I've just cut these in gold mirror. I decided I wasn't going to put gems on them, so I've put gems on the flourish and I've put gems around the frame, and I felt that was enough. You don't always have to gem every single dot that's there. And I've used that lattice panel in the middle here with a rubber mat, so not to cut but to emboss. Can you see that raised pattern in the background there? So that's another way of using those big dies. Now I've got some that Jamie's done, and these are exquisite as always. I love this combo of the cream and the pale blue cardstock. Very elegant, isn't that gorgeous? And I love that he's also embossed with that panel on the background here. Can you see that? And he's cut his down to a much smaller size. And then he's used one of the bumpy squares on the square, and then he's rotated this one onto the diamond. That's a lovely way to use them, isn't it? And then this bauble and a beautiful big flouncy bow with one of those gigantic pearls. It's perfect, isn't it, in the middle of a bow? I think they're lovely. And then we've got this one with the round bauble, and we've got some torn vellum, a lovely combo of blue, gold and navy, one of those lovely sentiment dies, and some gems just picking out that gorgeous bauble. And again, one of the big ones in the middle of a bow. Beautiful. I like this one. I like the simplicity of it. I love the colours. I love everything about it. So again, ripped vellum over craft brown this time. Just a hint of gold showing through here, and then the seashell blue cardstock from the Elite cardstock. And this time Jamie's used the 3D pearl accents to accent the dots on that bauble. And similarly on that little detail on this this die with the sentiment. Isn't that pretty? And this one is the right showstopper. Look at this. So we've got an embossed background done with a stencil, I would imagine. Bumpy squares, one embossed. Pearls on this one, not on this one. That's a lovely way of ringing the changes. And then the two round baubles stacked together like that, aren't they lovely? Hanging on a ribbon, big pearls to accent the bows, and then pearls of different sizes to bring out all that fantastic filigree. How beautiful are they? So that's your bauble set. Now let's have a look at some of those little flourishes. So I've got a lovely card here. Oh, flowers and flourishes I've put together here. So this one is the flowers, and these have been dotted. I think this is Sharon's. Yes, it is. Sharon's used the little punch outs from the border strips to accent these flowers, to accent the borders. I love that she's done this two-tone ivory and purple, and kept it running right throughout that. And then we've got a flourish in the background there as well, and the happy birthday. Isn't that lovely? And it just shows that you don't have to make massive cards. This is quite a small card, and she's used that lovely bumpy square to make the actual card blank. So you can do that as well with these layering dies, which is fab. Then this one's from Jamie, and again this is showing a really cool way to use those dot panels. Put it over a colour, so cut the holes through, put it over a colour, really simple, no need to dot everything inside again. And the flowers have been done 2 layers, and then a smaller size, and then that lovely centre, and then the dots that have come out of the other dot panel, the bigger one, as the flower centres. So that's another way to use them as well. Perfect. And then the lovely sentiment just for you. A lovely sunny card that, isn't it? It's gorgeous. And again, I would call this clean and simple, although it's anything but. But what we have here are the decal edge rectangles with the stitch edge inside. We've got the dot panel in the larger size. And what Jamie's done, can you see, is put a pearl in the middle of every single one of those cutouts. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. And then 2 of those beautiful flowers put together with, I think, probably 4 layers, 2 sizes of this one, 2 sizes of this one, and then that lovely little centre. So you can see you can create some amazing cards with these. They're just going to enhance your crafting no end. And again, I love this one. Dot panel cut through the front of the card, look. If you're going to do that sort of thing, make sure you get your pattern symmetrical top and bottom, and then a colour behind. Isn't that fab? Sentiment across, and attention to detail. The panel along the back as well, so you don't see all the workings. And then this gorgeous flourish. I really do like this one. And he's used the dots out of the little dot panel to accent that flourish. And look, he's used that little Sputnik flower centre as almost like a little rosette. I think that's beautiful. Love it. And then here's one of my efforts. I'm going to be using the Elite Misters on Sunday, so I've sprayed a piece of card and I've set that at the back of the dot panel. So I've got graduated colour going behind that. I've also cut my flourish out of a sprayed piece of card, so that has graduated colours through it too. And the gems I've chosen are two-tone. I've used orange and yellow and just faded them out throughout that design. So again, a fairly clean and simple card, but I think you'll agree quite effective. Alright, so those are the dot panels. That was mainly the dot panels and the flowers. We sort of stuck in a few of the flourishes as well, didn't we? So let's have a look at this amazing snowflake. Now, I've got to go to this one. The boss made this one. It's a 3D snowflake. I think it's got at least 5 in there, if not 6. And it stands proud of the front of the card. Look at that. There's a lot of work gone into that, but isn't it beautiful? And then the lattice panel with double-sided adhesive and white glitter put through. Just white on white is always just gorgeous. One of my favourites. I love white cards. Quite difficult to photograph, but it's not doing too badly on the camera here. And then the Let It Snow sentiment to finish that off. What else do you need? Nothing. Okay, and then we have this one. Again, a smallish card, and this could open top tent fold or it could open side fold, it doesn't really matter. Several mats and layers, an embossed panel, and then the pearl accents bringing on that snowflake. Isn't that stunning? And I love this one. This is very elegant indeed. Navy, pale blue and white and crystal. Oh, and a little bit of silver snuck in as well. That snowflake is just something else, isn't it? Really stunning. So we've got the small dot panels, top and bottom, and the snowflake in the centre. Oh, Jamie said the 3D snowflake was 5. So, now you know. And I love this one as well. Navy, white and silver. I mean, it's classic, isn't it? Gems on the snowflake. Bigger gems in the corners. Perfect for that. Some of Jamie's gorgeous mats and layers. Scallop squares with the pierced edge just sneaking in there. And then some simple square mats and layers. That's your snowflake. And then I've got some other examples from the team. So this was from Emma. This is again a 3D snowflake, but this time she's turned that into a hanging ornament. Isn't that stunning? And she's done it alternating blue and white. You can hang that on your Christmas tree. You could hang it in a window, hang it from a branch. It's beautiful, isn't it? I did something similar with one of the baubles. This was the big round bauble. And this is 6 of them put together, and every one of them gemmed. It didn't take me that long, and I enjoyed doing it, and that's what it's all about. So there we go. You can have that on your tree. Now I love this. This is from Sharon, and she's brought in a cheeky little elf from the Christmas collection and done us a stepper card. And we've got some inking panels here. We've got beautiful silver snowflake, and then she's accented with that flower centre, which is really lovely. Another idea. Oh, aren't they great? Honestly, so many ideas. My head's bursting. I didn't look at these today because I didn't want to well, I was getting on with my own, and I wanted to have my own ideas and not look at somebody else, because then you get influenced, don't you? So it was really lovely getting these all out of the box. I was like, oh wow. So we've got again that beautiful snowflake, and this time she's teamed it up with Rodney. Cheeky little fella, isn't he? Love it. Gorgeous. And this one's really stunning. This is Emma, and Emma's gone to town full on with glitter here. So I would imagine she's put double-sided adhesive on some card and then die cut through that, or glittered it and then die cut it. And she's done a mix here of a couple of colours. And then she's used the segments from the kaleidoscope set to create those fantastic corners. Isn't that beautiful? And I love the snowflake wishes. That's a stamp. Now you could use one of those wordies in that way across the centre of that snowflake. That would be stunning, wouldn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. And then lastly we have this one in black, white and silver. How beautiful and elegant is this? We have gems on the snowflake, we have gems on the silver, we've got piped 3D accents on the white and on the black. And it just makes a totally harmonious design, that, doesn't it? And the bumpy squares, I'm loving those. I really like those. I like them on the diamond as well. Gorgeous. So that's your snowflake. Are we feeling inspired? I know I am. I can't wait to get back to making stuff for Sunday. I've still got a bit to do, but I'm excited about it. Right, let's have a look at this lot. I've got so many, haven't I, to show you, but it's so nice to have all this inspiration available for you. So this is Emma again. Now Emma's used the lattice panel and she's cut it down. I would think this is probably about half a panel, but she's drop shadowed it with black behind the gold, and then she's added on those fantastic flowers laid up and gemmed. Isn't that striking? You wouldn't miss that on your mantelpiece, would you? Gorgeous. And here's one from our Jamie. I love the way that he's used this flourish to hold the flowers, using it almost like a branch. Really lovely. And then again we've got this fantastic trellis panel and the bumpy squares, and loads of beautiful pearls in the two sizes, 3mm, 6mm, and they're going to fit your little dot spaces perfectly. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I mean, if you received that, you'd be well pleased, wouldn't you? Really staggered. Now this one's interesting because again we've got here those dots that have come out of the dot panels, the bigger size, and they've been used instead of gems on the trellis panel. Isn't that stunning? I love it. I do believe this was Jamie's. Yes, it is. So we've got the big flower here, we've got Love and Hugs, which is one of the wordies, and we've got the bumpy squares, and all those little dots have been placed on the intersections. Gorgeous. And this one, I love this. That little snowflake, gemmed in blue. This one is glittered behind, gems on the intersection, and gems on that gorgeous frame. Absolutely beautiful. And another one. This is what I was talking about earlier, about using one of these to frame around a panel from that trellis. You don't have to use it all. And what he's done here is he's turned it so it's on the horizontal and vertical rather than on the diagonal. So that gives it a completely another look, doesn't it? Beautiful. And this is showing how you can just cut down and use a small piece. A lovely little panel, rectangular panel, a little bumpy square, and he's brought in a butterfly from another collection, and then Thinking of You. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. I think it's gorgeous. So then we've got this one finally, black and white, can't go wrong, can you? And again, he's used this flourish to support those flowers as if it was a branch. Gorgeous flower making. I mean, that is his thing, isn't it? And then Make a Wish. And this one's been dotted with the black 3D accents. Isn't that beautiful? So those are looking at the flowers, the flourishes and the trellis background. Have I missed anything? Yes, I have. I've got some fabulous ones here from Sharon, who's really focused in on the flourishes, and she's done some striking colour combos. So we've got black, white and red, and we've paired this up with the snowflake and then the two flourishes in black and gemmed in red and crystal. That's very dramatic, isn't it? Really stunning. And again on that colour scheme. And this time she's used the bumpy squares, she's used one of the leafy flourishes and the flowers. And then this one's gorgeous. She's created a wreath using the poinsettia, and then she's used that lovely flourish to fill up the wreath and put gems to be like little berries. Isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. So those are some ideas with the flourishes. There's just one more here in black and silver. I think this one was Emma's. Forgive me if I'm getting these wrong, but yeah, again, drop shadow, black and silver. The trellis panel, that's been embossed with a rubber mat, so not cut through, and a fabulous butterfly. And then I love the way, again, I was saying you don't have to dot every little space that there is, so she's just picked out the centres and the corners of that frame, and I love that. That's really effective, isn't it? So loads and loads of ideas. And then finally this one, which features all sorts of bits and bobs. So we have the bauble used as a circular panel vertically. Hang on, I've got that, I think it's that way. Yeah, so we've got that circular panel dotted again with the bits that have come out of the dotted panels, that gorgeous flourish and the flowers, and navy and white, so crisp, clean, smart. Love that. And this one, I think this, if I'm going to have one, would be my favourite. I love the colour combo, pink, white and grey, just gorgeous. And again, we've got these flourishes going on that just make the most perfect branches, don't they? A huge flower and a frame and loads of bling. All my love. You'd be so pleased to receive that, wouldn't you? It's just beautiful. And then this one, again with that big flourish and the flower all stacked up with lots and lots of pearls, bringing in the dragonflies, a scored background border and some of the larger pearls in the corners, and then some little tiny ones just dotted here and there. Just beautiful. And it's not, it looks complicated, but it's not, because your die cutting machine's done all the work for you. You just have to assemble, basically. It's just having the ideas, isn't it? I hear you. So there we are. I hope you are inspired, because I certainly was when I saw those, and I thought, oh my goodness, I can't wait to share this with the world on Sunday. It's just going to be amazing. And I don't know if you know, but I sneakily found out that I'm going to be doing my first show with Nigel. I'm just so chuffed, because I did my last show with Nigel, which was very emotional. Hopefully I won't be as emotional this time going back. I'll try and hold it together, but I will be excited to be back. So I'm glad I'm doing it with Nigel. It's like we've come full circle. So yeah, that's really lovely. All right, so I've got a couple of other bits and bobs to show you. Let me see if have I missed any comments. I know you've all been chatting to yourselves. Yeah, stunning samples, absolutely amazing, aren't they? I think you're going to love these. I really do. I know I do. As soon as I saw them, I was just like, wow. And it is such a different concept, isn't it? I've never seen anything that makes it so easy to position your gems. I mean, sometimes you don't, because you can't get, if you want a straight line, you can't get them in a straight line. It's just too hard. So, yeah, it's gorgeous, and they're just very different. Oh, Sharon, yes, I thought steampunk straight away when I saw that one, but I haven't got the rest of the steampunk collection, so I couldn't do much with it. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the Pro Cut Rose, so I can't help you with that. Jamie probably could. But basically what you need to emboss with a die is, it's the same as if you emboss with a stencil. So you need your base plate out of your machine. Let me just grab mine, and if I can get to them, hang on, and I'll show you as best I can. I wasn't geared up for that. Let's have a look. Mine are really well worn. Okay, so you use your base plate of your machine. This, you see, this is, I have a traditional machine with a big base plate. I don't think the Pro Cut has that, so that's why I can't really tell you. But I have my big base plate, and basically what you do is you put your die on there with the cutting side up. You then put your cardstock on top of the die, and then this is the important bit, you need a rubber mat. Most machines come with one these days. Mine's an old one, but it's not very big, but I can still do a big panel. I just do it in 2 sections. And once you've done that, you then want, well with mine, one cutting plate on top. And because it's rubber, it doesn't cut. And because we haven't got the cutting plate facing the cutting part of the die, it can't cut, so it embosses instead. So that's, I hope that's helped, but like I say, it will depend on your machine. Oops. And what platforms you've got available. All right. So, who is the designer of this collection? Well, it's under the Creative Expressions umbrella. And the beauty of that is that we can engage with lots of different designers and bring you a wide variety of styles. So that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Okay. I hope that helped, Rose. So look, I think Jamie's explaining. There you go. Brilliant. Thanks, Jamie. All right. So let me show you some of the other goodies that we're going to have for you alongside this collection. So one of the first things I'm going to be bringing are the Elite Misters. As you know, I'm completely not a fan of inks, sprays and all of that. So I'm going to be bringing the 6 original colours. They will be in bundles, but they'll also be available individually. And these would normally be $4.99 each, but there is going to be a special offer on them on Sunday. So we've got Seashell Blue, Heritage Green, Rose Petal Pink, Sunbeam Yellow, Night Sky Navy and Gladiator Red. And these are what I've used to spray my panels and then do my die cutting out of those. I love that effect because you get shades of colour rather than just a solid all over colour that you get with a piece of card that's, you know, manufactured that way. Nothing wrong with that, but I sometimes like to ring the changes by bringing in a variegated piece of card, and I can get that with sprays. So I'll be using those in that way. So we've got those available, and then we'll also bring in, which is exciting because these haven't been on the telly before, the original 8 colours of the Gemstones glitter. And we've put these into sets of 4, so there'll be 2 sets, but again you can get them individually, and again they are $4.99 each, but of course you're going to get a better price if you get a bundle. Just saying. So we have Black Onyx, Heliodor, those 2 together are amazing, Rose Quartz, beautiful sort of rose gold tones to that one, and Argentite, which is a fantastic bright silver. So that will be one bundle. That's all your sort of metallics, if you like, in that set. And then in the second set there's going to be the pink sapphire, the aquamarine, which is just beautiful, the Larimar, which is also beautiful. It's like a sort of lavender periwinkle kind of blue, that one. And then violet sapphire, which has got more of a lilac-y tone to it than that one. You see the difference? So those are your 2 bundles that are going to be available on Sunday. If you haven't already invested in these, then Sunday might be the time. Just saying. Now the other thing that we've got to go alongside the dies to dot are these 3D pearl effects. They're from the Dovecraft brand and they're a really lovely consistency. I do enjoy these. I find them relatively easy to pipe with, and my thumbs aren't great. I have arthritis, so I can't squeeze things very well, but I've got on very well with these, and the colours are gorgeous. So we've got a bright blue, a bright purple, a gold and a silver. We've also got a bright green, the black, which is stunning, a bright pink and a beautiful bright red. And you're going to be able to get all 8 of these. Now I hope I get this one right. All 8 of these, Jamie, help, for £4.99. Now I know that there are other brands that make this sort of thing, and one bottle can easily be £3.99. So I think that's an absolute steal, but you'll have to get in quick because I don't think they're going to last. So that's, I think, everything that I'm going to be bringing on Sunday. And if you'd like me to show you a few demos tonight, I've got a couple I can show you. I know time's getting by and I've talked forever. Oh, thank goodness I got that right. Good. So yes, £4.99 for all 8 of your pearls. I'm getting paranoid now. So let's have a look at a couple of these things in action, shall we? All right, I'm going to start with that beautiful snowflake. And I've done some quite simple cards because I thought it was quite nice to show you that they don't always have to be major productions, even though those are stunning and we love doing those as well, of course we do. But I thought we'd have a look at quite a modern design. Okay, so this is the snowflake, obviously, and I've teamed it up with black and white, and I've used the smaller snowflake from the flower set and doubled that up. We've got Let It Snow, and the only colour on this piece is from a sprayed piece of card and one of the dot panels. So let's have a look at how I've created this card. If I can find the right bits and pieces, that would be helpful. Okay, so I've sprayed a piece of card with blue and pink. So that was the rose petal pink and the seashell blue. And I've just sprayed them randomly across the piece of card and left them to dry. And then from that I've been able to cut my dot panel. So the panel I sprayed the second time was actually quite a bit darker, as you can see. The first one I used a lot of water, which was for something else I've been doing, and then I wanted it stronger, so I sprayed some more and I've got this lovely strong colour. So this is the panel, and that's where all these little dots came from, and some of them are pink, some of them are blue, some of them have got like purple where it's mixed, so I've got those to use on something else, which is, you know, always very exciting. So that's how I've achieved the panel. And then for the card I have the Let It Snow, 2 of the flower snowflakes if you like, and of course that beautiful, no, I think it's got a bit of a Nordic style to it, this snowflake. I don't know why it's those pointy bits and what have you, but that's what snowflakes are like as well, isn't it? So we've got a big snowflake, 2 little ones, a sentiment and a panel, and I just want to put this together really simply in black and white. So what I've done, I've got a piece of white card cut to the size I wanted, and I've taken a corner off, or almost, you know, you can't take a corner off with a circle, you know what I mean? But so I've used the circle to take out this portion of the card, and I've already cut it, so you can see there what that looks like, which is a bit strange, but I thought it was quite effective. And that was using one of Jamie's plain circles from the nesting collection. And I want that to sit my snowflake into, but I want to lose the edges a little bit, just to give it something a bit different. So I've got my black layer ready to go. I don't want to stick these together yet until I've worked out where this is going to sit and how much of it I'm going to cut off the edges. So I want to make sure that that line running through the snowflake is parallel with the sides of the card, because if it's not, if it's just a bit off, it'll always look a bit off. So it doesn't matter what you have at the top, as long as that line running through is vertical. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to attach the snowflake first. So I've got in my glue bottle, I've decanted Jamie's Lovely Dries clear glue. Oh, that's another thing I'm having on Sunday. 2 bottles at 125ml, but the litre bottle is making an appearance. So, just saying. Right, let's get this stuck. So I'm going to just glue a fine line. This helpfully has straight lines running all the way through it, and I'm going to just glue up those lines. I need to remember that I'm going to be cutting some of it off, so I'm not going to glue all the way to the end. This is just an easy way. You don't, when you're gluing stuff down like this, you don't have to glue every single millimetre of it. There'll be enough glue there to hold it in place. It's not going anywhere. Alright, now let's get this in position. Something like so. That's shifted a little bit. Let me just put that back, pull that down a bit. There we are. Something like that. Okay. And then obviously you have to let that dry. I'm just going to pat that down. Now you could leave it like that. That looks quite nice with the bit hanging over, and you could put another contrasting piece of something at the back of it. But that wasn't what I wanted to do with this tonight. It's just not grabbing for some reason, but there we go. These things happen. I lost my scissors. Oh, you've all disappeared. Where have you gone? There we are. Alright, so now I can take this away, and I can just trim off the bits that are hanging over. Up the side of the card, and I'll scoot those bits into the bin. Okay, and now I can pop this in place where it belongs. So, as I say, quite a simple card, quite clean and simple, would you call it? I quite like that style. I find it quite hard to achieve sometimes. So when I do, I'm usually quite chuffed with my little self. So I just wanted to show that, you know, these dies, they lend themselves to so many styles. You know, you can go full on glory, or you can go modern, you can go really colourful and bright, you can go subdued and elegant. I think they're just going to lend themselves to so many styles. It's just a fabulous collection. I'm in love with it. I am. And then I've got my dot panel. Now, I felt it was a little bit big, so I decided I was going to chop it down, because you can. Because, helpfully, there is actually a solid line between each of the strips of holes. So I want it down to 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. So, oops. Got my glue pin stuck. So 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm just cutting off 2. So if I line up on the edge of my guillotine, I've now got a row of 2 that I could use on something else, and I've got my row of 6 that I need for my card, but it's a bit long as well, so I'm going to cut off 3 rows from the end. So you don't even have to measure, just make it fit what you want it for. And so now we've got this smaller panel that's going to fit my card the way I'd like it to. Okay, so we can stick this in place, and again, I'm not going to glue every single part of this. What I actually did was just every other row between, and that was ample to hold it down. These fine gloom bottles are just an absolute boon for doing this sort of thing, because you couldn't really do it with a bigger bottle, not when the lines are so fine. But this makes it really easy. So I'm just dragging it down the solid bit between all those little dots. I mean, another way, you could put this onto a blending mat and dab glue onto it if you wanted to cover the whole thing. And then I'm just going to pop this along the top, something like that. Okay, pretty. Okay, and then just to finish off, I've got the 2 snowflake flowers, and I'm going to offset one on top of the other, like so. And I've actually, on my original card, I've lifted this up on a foam pad just to give it a little bit of height, but obviously you don't have to do that. So try and get those little arms spaced and get the centres lined up with each other. And then I can pop that on there. And again, just offset from the border. I could have plonked it right in the middle, but I personally, I like things a little bit offset. That's me. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything I'm doing. It's absolutely up to you, isn't it? That's the beauty again of dies. You can do exactly what you want with them. Gorgeous. And then we've got this lovely Let It Snow sentiment. And I didn't know if this was going to show up or not with being white on white and the same cardstock, but it actually does, because of course once you've got a little bit of dimension to something, it creates a shadow, and that of itself makes it stand out. So you can see it, and I'm just going to pop that under my border like so, and that's that one done. So nice, quick and easy, but hopefully reasonably stylish. My computer has frozen. Can you still see me? There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, now I haven't put any gems on this one at all. You can do, obviously, if you want to. You could put gems on this one, you could put gems on this one, you could even put the gems in here should you so desire. I did consider dotting the odd one just randomly, and then I thought, no Gwen, stop, leave it alone. And then I've got a white base card to pop that on. So there we are. A nice, simple, modern take on a winter or Christmassy card. I hope you've enjoyed. So that's that one. Right, let's have a look. Have we got any questions at all? Any comments? Let me see. Oh, thank you all very much. Yes, they are very different, aren't they? The snowflake seems to be a firm favourite. Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Thanks, Jamie. All right, so I've just got one more quick one to do with you, and then I will love you and leave you, because obviously I've got much more to show you on Sunday. And not only that, but I will be covering this collection again next Thursday. So we'll be doing some more in-depth demos. I'll be able to relate a little bit more to you about how Sunday went. Gosh, funny to think it will have gone by then. And hopefully get some nice feedback, and we can grow from there, can't we, as a community, as a crafting company, because that's what we want, that's what we're trying to do here. So I'm really excited about everything that's happening in our world. It's just amazing. Alright, so I thought I might have a look at one of my favourite techniques to do with these 3D pearl effects. I've done it before with other brands, and it's almost like a faux marbling. So let me show you what we're going to do. So can you see the background on this? So that is done with the Pearl 3D effects. And then we've got this beautiful, I'm going to call it my cloisonné bauble, and a bow and a sentiment. So again, quite a quick, simple card once you've done your background. Who's disappearing? Kim. All right, Kim, love. See you on Sunday. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to do the background, and then, as I say, the rest of the card is relatively straightforward. But these pearls on a black cardstock are beautiful, and they really stand out. They stand up to it really well. Let me just grab some protective card and paper. The only thing I would say that you need is some sort of stippling brush. Now mine's really old and tatty, but it's perfect for the job. That's exactly what I want, a tatty brush. It's not too stiff. The bristles are splayed, and it's going to work perfectly for this. So it's a stippling brush. It's not a blending brush, and it's not a stencil brush. If you can't find anything like that, and I really can't remember where I got them from. It might have been Judikins, so we're talking a long time ago. You can use a piece of sponge. You can use a natural sponge. Natural sponge is brilliant for doing this technique, for getting marbled effects. But I like this, and I use this for my technique. So I'm going to bring in from our fabulous 3D effects the gold, the silver, and the green, because we're doing Christmas. Why not? So to do this, I'm going to use the blending mat, one of Jamie's blending mats, and I've done this and it washes off nicely, so no panic there. Sometimes you do get little air bubbles in these. I tend to store mine upside down to stop that happening. There's nothing worse than starting to pipe dots and you get a bubble. It's not great. So always, when you're starting to dot, always test on a piece of scrap. Don't go straight to your project, because if it decides to burp at you, you've had it, and it's everywhere. Right, so I'm going to dab my brush into this 3D pearl, and then I'm just going to stipple it onto the card. And I'm rotating the brush as I go so that I don't get all my marks going in one direction. And go off the side of the card so you cover all of it. I just need a little bit more. You see, I'm sort of twisting the brush as I stipple. And this dries really quite quickly. Yeah, maybe 5-6 minutes, something like that, because I'm not putting a huge thickness of the material down. Okay, so that's my first colour. Can you see that? That's nice just as it is, but I want it to build on that. So I'm going to bring in the silver now. And same thing, squeeze that out. And I mean, you're getting a lot of this, so if you're going to live doing dots with it, it's going to last you a very long time. So I like to use other things with it, and it's always good to know that there's more than one thing you can do with your products anyway, isn't it? I'm always looking for more than one thing from a product. That's what makes it value for money. So being able to paint with them and use them like this is great. Let's have a little bit more silver in there. The silver's lovely. It's a really soft, it's almost like a satin silver. It's really beautiful. Okay, so can we see now I've got gold and silver? It's good, isn't it? And look at all that texture. And that's from an old scruffy brush. So you need an old scruffy brush. Gwen said, we've got to have an old scruffy brush. It does look a little bit like leather. I think if you chose your colours accordingly, you could certainly get that effect. You might notice as well, every time I've finished squeezing, I wipe the nozzle. That's going to stop it getting a little bit crusty on the nozzle. And then I'm just going to bring in a little bit of this green. This actually was inspired, I have a bauble at home that's a bit, it looks like this. It really does look like this, and it has little red gems all over it. It's beautiful. We found it when we were on holiday in Wales, and I said, oh, I love that. And Matthew's like, we don't need any more baubles. I was like, I need that one. Anyway, it came home with us. Alright, so that's my background done. So that was easy, wasn't it? And look how effective that is. It's really, I've lost it again, my camera. Sorry. There we go. Isn't that nice? Now you can do that and let that dry, and then if you want to, you can die cut out of that. You could die cut some of the flourishes, you could die cut the dot panels. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But I'm just going to use it as is, as a background. So that's where I'm going with that one. Just remove my mess and pop that aside to dry, because I have one I did earlier. So this one's dried, and you can see it hasn't changed at all. When it dries, it stays that lovely metallic finish. Okay, and I'm just going to pop this really simply onto a little white card. This is an American A2 card, which I do like that size very much. So it's 5.5 by 4.25, and it's a little bit wider and a little bit shorter than our A6 cards. The only problem is then you've got to find an envelope, but you can get them. And I really like this size. I think it's got a good surface to fill. It's, you know, it's enough. So just try and get that straight. I do like Jamie's glue for having its wiggle room. It's brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to press that from the back to press it down. And that's my background done, basically. Then I've got my bauble. I've already cut it, and I don't know if you can see the little recesses where the gems sit, but every one is marked out really clearly. So it's dead easy to be doing this process. I like to use tweezers to pick up my gems, but that's me, that's what I've got used to doing. Some people also like to use the tip of a craft knife to pick them up. You will find what works for you, and there is no right and wrong. It's just a matter of finding how best you can use them. So I'm just going to grab my sheet of gems that's sadly decimated, look at it, and I'm going to start to add some gems onto this beautiful bauble. So I've worked in two-tone with the orange or sort of amber in the middle of each flower. Now I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. The worst thing about these is if you squeeze too hard with tweezers, that's when they ping across the room, and I keep finding them everywhere. They turn up eventually, but in strange places. And so what I do, I get them between the prongs of my tweezer and I put my finger over it, and then I slide it. And that way, if it does ping, it can't go any further than my finger, so it's not going to end up somewhere across the room. And then just pick it up. They don't always behave, but that's the best advice I can give. And after that, see, that one's just decided to ping, but it didn't go anywhere because my finger stopped it, but it's upside down, so I'm not going to retrieve it just now. I will do, but not right now. Alright, so as I say, you will find your way of doing this, but once you get in the swing, it's really cool. And it's a bit like doing those crystal art or sparkle art pictures. It's very mindful and very relaxing, and you can just lose yourself in it. It's great. I'll need another sheet because I need some green ones. Here we are. So I'm going to do the flowers with orange and yellow, so I'll just do one. I won't do them all because obviously you don't want to sit and watch me do this for hours. Although you might. It is quite relaxing. Okay. And you just pop it into the little circle that's welled there for you. And off you go. Oops. So yeah, that finger is important. Just keep it on top of the gem. And then if it pings, it can't really go very far. And then I just picked out all the leaves or what the branches or whatever they are to you. And I decided this green colour is so beautiful. It's almost got a teal edge to it. It's really deep and rich. Beautiful. So you can see how this is coming together quite quickly. If you can't sit for long, I'm getting a bit of a pain in my neck right now, but I've been at it all day, so you know I wouldn't do too much of this at one sitting. You can just do a little bit and then go away and do something else, or do it while you sat watching telly. It's entirely up to you. So can you see now how that's quickly coming together? Isn't it pretty? So that's how you do it, and then pop that on there once you've finished. I was just going to tie a quick bow, and I had a sentiment ready cut in gold just to go along the bottom. Nothing major. I did think it might be nice for some of you, if you struggle to tie a bow, I thought I might do a quick bow tutorial if you like. How to get a chocolate box bow. So this is a beautiful organza ribbon. Organza's good for practicing because it pulls up nice and tight. So the way I do it is I take it round my finger and I make a loop, and the tail and the main string of ribbon are crossed. Can you see that? Like that. Then you take the long tail and you take it up and over the middle and back to where it started. Then with your finger push a loop, make a loop and push it through the front of that middle wrap that you've just made, and you end up with something that looks horrendous. And a lot of people make the mistake of leaving the bows like that, and that's why they never look great. The trick with a bow is not how you tie it, it's how you finish it, it's how you shape it. So put one finger through that loop and one finger through that loop, your first fingers. Then with your second fingers and your thumbs, hold the tails like that. And then you start to pull and wiggle. And I'm pulling the loops and I'm pulling the tails and I'm tightening as I go. Can you see that? And then I can enlarge the loops if I want to. I can pull it tighter if I want to. I can pull it out and change the shape if I want to. I can make it flatter. So rather than having the tails coming off the bottom, I can have them coming more out the side. And that's how you shape a bow. It's all about how you pull up the loops and the ends. And then when you're happy with the shape of your bow and you're happy with the size of your bow, then you pull that middle tight. And that's how you get a nice chocolate box bow. Then if you want to trim the ends, you can either trim them on a 45-degree angle, but with organza, because it frays, I tend to do a chevron. So I fold the ribbon in half and cut from the outside up to the fold, so that you get that nice little chevron end. Can you see that? It's hard to see. There you go. And then try and get the other side a similar length. Fold that in half, and you cut from the outside edge up towards your bow. There you go. And then impromptu little bow tutorial. So now we've got our bow, and that can sit quite happily at the top of the bauble. Sometimes you just need to turn the fold on itself so it bends the other way. That's it. And then if you want the ends further out towards the side, you just gently pull, and then we can stick that down, and there we have a really beautiful bow holding up our bauble. Obviously stick it down. So there you go. There's the finished one. That was a double bow I did on a bow maker, so I wasn't going to try and show you that tonight. But there we are. You can do your bow however you like, or not. You can just put a little string. It's entirely up to you. But there's your marbled background with your 3D pearl accents. Joanna, you beat me to it. on a little A2 card with that lovely marble background and our beautiful beaded bauble. Alright, so that's me done for tonight. Again, I'm very, very pleased that I am going to be going back to Hobby Maker. I'll be there on Sunday if you missed it earlier. My show times are going to be 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So please join me if you can. It would be lovely to know that I've got friends watching, and let's hope. I'm sure we're going to have a fantastic show because these products are incredible. So please join me if you can, and don't forget to be onto your stockists on Tuesday when these products become available. But the best deals are going to be for you on Hobby Maker, and we've got those fantastic bundles which your retailers probably won't have, of the gems, the 3D pearls, we've got the glitters, we've got the elite misters. So fill your boots, as we say. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. It's always a pleasure. Join Jamie on Monday for his Monday Night Natter, and I'll be back next Thursday and we'll be delving deeper into this collection. So in the meantime, take good care of yourselves. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.